Good afternoon and a warm welcome to one and all. Sophos and SMEVenture are pleased to welcome you all for today's conference, that is cybersecurity in education, going from no to know. We appreciate your great interest in this event, and this is your host Yasmin Khan from SMEVenture. Students are practically born with technology in their hands, but they don't have the information about the security. Educational institutes are an ideal target because they are a gold mine of personal information that's rarely protected by the same level of cybersecurity practices used by many private enterprises. Many institutions also manage a sizable budget that malicious entities are keen to exploit. Cyber criminals are also targeting Indian government offices associated with education sector. So in this exclusive conference, we will provide a blueprint to higher education, K-12, and primary or secondary education institutions to enable them to protect against the increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks and also manage trends such as bringing your own device and more. So over the next 60 minutes, we'll have a keynote by our guest of honor, Mr. Bhupesh Daheria, who is the CEO of Aegis School of Business, Data Science, Cybersecurity, and Telecommunication, which is followed by an expert presentation by our plenary speaker, Mr. Ravindra Baviskar, Director Sales, Engineering Sophos. Before the end of the session, we are going to have a quick game where we'll have two lucky winners. So may the best win, and so stay tuned till last. So before we start, let me introduce Mr. Prasanna Kumar, Director South India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Cybersecurity Specialist at Sophos Technology to set the context for the event. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Yasmin. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, definitely. Over to you.
Thank you. Warm welcome to all, and I sincerely thank all of you for joining today's webinar. Cybercrime do not have boundaries, do not have ethics, and always kept us busy fighting. Organized crime market is constantly evolving and growing. In today's webinar, we are going to focus on securing our boundaries and understanding the depth of cybercrime. Today, we have invited our keynote speaker who is dealing with cybercrime and will share how things are moving forward. At Sophos, we are proud to protect our customers from cybercrime at each level and constantly bringing innovative approach to fight against cybercrime. We have built an ecosystem of solutions which can work as advanced defense mechanism against threat vectors. My colleague Ravi is going to cover more on solutions in his presentation. Sophos is a global brand with $1 billion billings and leader in cybersecurity space for past 35 years. India is one of the major development centers for Sophos, and we proudly can say that our firewall is qualifying in class 1 category of Make in India initiative. Also, we are proud to announce our cloud data center in India to help Indian customers to comply with the data security compliance requirements and have best of the breed solutions like XDR, MTR, and advanced solutions from Sophos. Without further delay, I would like to introduce Mr. Bhupesh Daheria, CEO, Aegis School of Business, Data Science, Cybersecurity, and Telecom, to give more insight. And Mr. Bhupesh has actually over 23 years of experience in telecom, innovation, skilling, data science, higher education, and edutech. His life is focused on educating the birth penalty through offering high quality education to the masses at affordable cost and improving the overall quality and learning outcome of higher education in India. He founded M University, or in short form, we call MUNI, an end-to-end online higher education solution provider, education digital infrastructure, education marketplace, and MOOC platform. Here I welcome Mr. Bhupesh to share his experience and lead us through what he's going through every day and how actually he's prepared from an end customer point of view. Mr. Bhupesh, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you so much for warm welcome and setting up the context. And, thank you so much, Yogesh, for inviting me for this webinar. I think it is very relevant. I must congratulate you that you have picked up a very relevant topic, because we in academia, at least this part of the world, India, we consider that educational data is not as valuable data as banking or maybe telecom or any other company. And more so, education is not being considered as an industry, and hence it is being neglected. So education in India or this developing part of the world is considered like a charity activity. But most of you will be surprised to know, and a lot of academicians also don't know, in terms of the revenue, what education industry generates and what kind of impact it is having on a lot of Western countries' GDP. As on today, education industries revenue is roughly around close to $15 trillion, right? Which is almost 5 times than the India's GDP. And if you really talk about, say, telecom industry's revenue globally is roughly around 1.5 trillion. So you can really understand what kind of industry we are talking about. And that's the reason most of the overseas university, be it MIT or Stanford or world leading institution, they are very much conscious about their cybersecurity. So I have prepared a very small presentation so that it will really guide me and it will not really let me deviate here and there, which I generally do. So let me share a very brief small presentation wherein I try to really capture my thoughts and some points. Feel free to put questions in chat, use your microphone if you wish to really ask any question. Hope all of you can see my meeting. Okay. So generally, this is what the affair at this point of time across the world, not only in India. And post this conflict with China, this is the cyber situation. Massive increase in the attacks, which is happening in India, and majority of the other part of the world, cyber attacks has also increased. And cyber has become like a national policy. Various countries, they have hired cyber army, just like a physical army, namely China, Israel, Russia, and they are heavily engaged into cyber warfare. So it's not simply in the hands of, say, amateur cyber guy, those who really download some tools, random tools from the internet and try to really hack into the system. So this is our NSA chief, Mr. Dover's statement, which he gave a couple of months back, that country witnessed roughly around 500% spike in cybercrime due to limited awareness. The most important thing, let's not go 500% or 400%. What is more important is the fact awareness, and that's something highlight which you can really pick from his statement, right? Financial crime, most of us you are aware of. I need not really highlight. This is one of the important thing that because we are talking about India specific, right? I'll also give you some overview about worldwide, but I think developed world there is a quite a big awareness as far as cyber security in education is concerned. But being an educator and my other company also provides a lot of digital solution, I realize that there is no awareness and there is no consensus that we need to really protect education data. When I'm saying no, it is pretty harsh comment. No means say the level of, it's a relative phenomena. So when I am saying no, the level of awareness and the seriousness is relatively zero in India. India stands among third among top 20 world cybercrime victims. This is the FBI report. This is another statistics which you can really go through, right? Financial frauds are up due to digital dependence, right? And why these cyber crimes are happening? These cyber crimes were always there pre-COVID or post-COVID, but post-COVID, what has happened? Majority of the companies worldwide has gone digitization. India, we have seen major digitization. Even the academic world has gone digitization. In last 25 years, India's adoption as far as digital tool is concerned is roughly around 3%, which is learning management system. Due to COVID, ironically, this digitization has increased drastically in many folds. Not only in India, but worldwide. And massive digitization has happened, not only in education, but almost every aspect of the business, every aspect of our life. And that has also created, say, given a, say, very breeding ground for cyber vultures. Another important thing which we also need to really understand that due to COVID, a lot of people gone jobless. Incomes were wiped out. And the easiest thing for the youth is to really get engaged into crime. And cybercrime, just hardly what you need is no gun, no knife, is a computer and some knowledge and some ready tools. And you're ready to become a hacker. Pardon with me, I have a bad throat, so please bear if I'm coughing in between. Sorry. Let's come down to education and what is happening in India. This is the major highlight. May 2020, an academy was hacked and there were 22 million users, which is roughly around 2.2 crore users. Data was available on sale for $2,000 on darknet. This is a serious breach. 22 million is a huge number. Some countries even don't have that level of population. I remember Satish, he is one of the cyber experts. He said one statement, very striking statement in one of the conferences we organized in say Bangalore. He said, gentlemen, there are only two kind of people. One, those who know they are hacked. The other, who do not know that they are hacked. And you can very well understand what is the meaning. So we must be ignorant that we don't know that we are hacked, but we are actually hacked. Maybe hackers have not got any, say, valuable information, or they hack the entire your data, but you have no understanding. You have got no information that you are being hacked. Since morning, I was with my team, and we also have another edtech company, 𝐸𝐴𝐬, and my team, tech team, and we were trying to really stop SQL injection hacking attempt, which was happening on our website, on our portal. And fortunately, we could analyze and we could really stop that. So our team could really find out that yes, such an attempt is being happening, and we witnessed for few minutes the live attempt of SQL injection. So it is very serious matter as far as education is concerned. This is say roughly 7 years back. This was reported by leading university in US, and this is a staggering number. The provost says, Kevin said that roughly around 20 million attacks are happening every day. and this is astronomical amount of attacks is happening. And we must be wondering why the hell, what valuable information a hacker will get by attacking a university, because attacker or hacker is primarily looking for some information through which they can do the financial frauds. just a minute. Sorry. So we all think that information, most of the research which is happening in university. Sorry, I think we lost the connection. Can you confirm that? Am I back? Can you hear me again?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Yeah.
So why they are after the university data? So most of these research, high valuable research, is happening in universities. So this entire deep learning was the major research was done in University of Toronto. Imagine Chinese hackers are able to really get hold of these valuable research beforehand, right? So the world is into the information war, the knowledge war as far as AI is concerned. And there is a big politics which is going around, right? So whosoever will win, whosoever society and the country will win, those who can really harness the power of data and can build the intelligent systems. And that's where the different level of wars are going on. And so one of the most valuable information universities are holding is not only the student data, but the most important valuable information is research. So imagine the kind of research and patents which are being published from IIT Bombay, IIT Chennai, Delhi, ISI Bangalore, right? It's amazing amount of the research. And there is one research which says that IIT Kharagpur, IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay together has generated roughly around 50 times more startup companies than Stanford, Wharton and Kellogg alone, right? Although the number of research paper India publishes is far lesser than China, but we do some valuable research, some fundamental research, and that is our IP, that is a valuable thing. Right. Now, why higher education? One, they have the old outdated legacy system, because let's talk about learning management system. Learning management system, most of the ERPs were developed in Western world roughly around three to 4 decades back. And they are still into these systems, multiple silo systems of working. So there is a online application system, the learning management system, there's the ERP, there is attendance system, right? There's the online library. These are the multiple systems which is there, right? So their systems wherein they are putting their research papers, their internet email system, their legacy servers, right? And large universities, they also have their IT teams, which is not evident much in India, but Indian universities, like for example, Mumbai University also have their online admission. They have ODL, online distance learning education, right? They also conduct the examination. Examination system is being digitized, right? And once the moment you convert your data into digital, you become vulnerable, right? The hacker can really hack into your systems. So unlike banks and other say corporate world, education has not invested, and we are not very much IT savvy, although the academic world develops most of the technology. The another is I can myth, I would not say myth, it's a wrong word, but I think in academic world we don't have the acceptance and realization that student data is as valuable as the financial data. Most of the universities and academic world, they don't have a dedicated cyber security team, just like any bank will have. The awareness level is very low, right? And one of the data point which says that higher education institutions rank number 2 in ransomware attacks, and that's specifically in US, right? We would generally will think that okay, these are the banks or telecom companies or healthcare companies will be subjected to ransomware, right? Even some police department were attacked by hackers for the ransomware, and they paid money. Why it is important? Because digitization has happened. Pre-COVID, still we had some amount of digitization in terms of ERP in education, but post-COVID, a lot of universities, not only in India, worldwide, has invested massive amount of money on online applications, learning management systems, Zoom, and we have seen Zoom-boarding incidents which have been reported. The Zoom-boarding has happened with Aegis also, say last month, and we had to really shut down the conference in between while one of our alumni was delivering a session, online examination. So one of my other company, Muni Campus, we also do the online examination. And the moment you go on online examination, cheating, hacking of the examination paper, right? Unauthorized way, copying the examination, putting on the internet, all these kind of things is happening. Millions and millions people are coming.
I think so. There's some network issue with Bhupesh sir's side. We can't even see him now. So nobody is moving for Bhupesh sir is in again. Hello.
We lost.
Yeah, it was totally lost, sir. We were not able to hear you or see you. So yeah, you can continue. I'll just mute.
Being in Bombay, seeing this kind of disruption in internet, I'm seeing it first time. Okay, so what kind of data these hackers can really get? Academic credentials, which is great. So imagine that, say, 5 lakh students, they have appeared the examinations, and hacker get into the system and change the grades, or the entire data is being wiped out, or the mark sheet or the answer sheet which is being scanned and put into the Mumbai University server, it's overnight wiped out. You can imagine the kind of consequences can really have, right? And the kind of reputation loss of any leading university, because most of the leading universities, they have their academic credibility because their grading pattern, their examination assessment system is very stringent, and that is being valued by peer universities across the world, and even valued by the recruiters. High value academic research data, which I spoke about. Even while we are talking about this, we have absolutely no visibility in what different ways these say hackers can use these data just beyond financial gains. Radicalization is happening, right? Because the university, the student, those who are studying in colleges, they are say fresh minds, very vulnerable minds, and they can be radicalized. They can be used for self-harm, right? There are various social media sites, there are tons of videos which are being circulated. So as a university, how do we really monitor? As a university, we need to really monitor what kind of content students are watching while they are in the college campus, right? Are they studying, or are they engaged into any kind of cyberbullying or radicalization, or some other kind of financial crimes, right? Now, I know with us, Ravindra is there. Ravindra will be able to really, he's a subject matter expert. He will be able to really tell you in what way we can really secure our educational infrastructure. But briefly, I will talk about at very basic level that what we need to really do, we need to really assess our current level of preparedness, right? We need to really develop more of awareness. We need to really run boot camp awareness seminars and sessions. Very simple thing like changing your username, your password frequently every week or after 15 days. Not to save your username and password on public computer, right? Or other kind of stuff, not to share your OTP, right? Do not give permission to every app which you are installing on your mobile phone for sharing the photographs. So let's say you have downloaded an app for gaming and some other stuff, and that on an average, every app asks you to really give the permission to read SMS, give the permission to access your images. Why the hell they need it? So you need to create the awareness among the students and faculty members, in general everybody, that why you need to really give them the permission. Is there any need for that app to use your photographs or read your say SMS? I don't think so. Right. Also start say cybersecurity programs, because let's say a very small country like Israel could really establish a leadership in cybersecurity. Now, education institutions just merely they need to really grow beyond their saving their own infrastructure and creating awareness. Develop very strong cybersecurity programs which can develop cyber commandos, which in turn not only can save the country but the institutions itself. Right? Give hands-on training, right? Simulate say cyber attacks, do ethical hacking, train your teams, students, those who will try to really attack your own servers. And that typically this practice we do. So while we are running cybersecurity program, we also tell our cybersecurity student to do ethical hacking and try to find the vulnerability in various softwares and applications, right? And of course, we need to really invest some bit of amount on manpower and cyber infrastructure in terms of buying tools and infrastructure and software. Because most of the institutions, they heavily invested money on brick mortar infrastructure. So I think with this, there are a lot of other stuff. So I'll just leave with this two framework that this is the way we have to really try to figure it out in a systematic way to assess what is the risk. And for that risk, we need to really assess what is the vulnerability, what is the threat, and what is the asset. Asset, what we are trying to really protect. Is it student data or the, say, our research or examination data or admission data, and where it is lying, right? Vulnerability could be our weakness, our legacy system, right? Vulnerability could be less of finances. Vulnerability could be we don't have the manpower, right manpower, right? And threat is, of course, your systems are being connected, you're conducting online examination, and there's no way that you can really stop. Right? With this slide, I will end my entire presentation. So this is a broader framework. What we are trying to really protect. We are trying to really protect our physical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, right? So what kind of capability we need to really have? So we need to really protect the, let's say you have a server, and in server, if some hacker need to really get inside to steal your information, they need to really move through the network. So you need to protect the network. Let's say you have online examination application or system, right? So how they will really get into your system? They will use the application. So you need to really test your application. How authentic your, how secure your application is. It could be web application, it could be desktop application, and it could be a web application. So you need to really hire pen testers or ethical hackers to actually do that testing and patch those security vulnerabilities. You need to define what kind of data you have, because we are putting everything on, say, cloud, but cloud is it's not your computer, it's somebody else's computer, and you don't know where it is. So what kind of data you need to really put on the cloud, what kind of security measures you will have, and if you have your own servers, how you're going to really protect the data. So you also need to really have either that expertise or awareness, or hire those expertise in terms of protecting your data, right? Different level of access, that who's going to really access that examination record or admission record. Not equally everybody should have the access to those information, because now today you're getting the examination done by the third party, and third party has that access of the examination record. What kind of agreement you have signed, right? And of course people, because most of the attacks are done by the people, not machine, right? This is inside. If examination paper are being leaked out or examination paper are being sold, it is by somebody who's inside the system, right? So how do we really going to really attack, which is beyond the discussion of this webinar. And all these things can be really managed through the law, machine, and people, right? There are laws in place, and you need to really have a legal team who can really formulate these laws and guidelines, which can really circulate. And these laws will become like a deterrent. Let's say we have our online examination system. So while a student really starts online examination system, they read the conditions, right? They also, which clearly states that if they really get into any kind of unethical practice or any kind of stuff, their matter can be handed over to the court of law. But you also know how many cases you can really hold, right? So any reasonable person, if he try to really commit any kind of crime, he will think twice, right? Because every action has got some consequence, but these consequences need to be conveyed properly. And if the line is crossed beyond a certain level, this need to be handed over to the law. So while universities also need to really build up a holistic understanding on all these grounds, they can't just simply rely on third-party vendors by providing the solution. Of course, that's the starting point, right? But they also need to really build up this level of understanding. So I think I should stop it over here. I have many slides, but there's a limitation of time. I would welcome if there are
Yeah,
questions. So I would be happy to answer questions best to my knowledge and experience.
definitely, sir. If there is any question, we'll get back to you with that. And once again, firstly, thank you so much for such an insightful session. Even though we were having some internet issue, you were having some health issue, you were there with us till this time. So we are very much thankful for your precious time and knowledge, sir.
My apologies, it has
No,
happened.
no. You just take
I-
care of your
I
health,
do-
sir. Health is first. I hope we'll have more session with you with a good health.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now it's time for another session on cybersecurity in education from our plenary speaker. So I would like to invite Mr. Ravindra Baviskar, Director, Sales Engineering, Sophos. Welcome, sir.
All right, thank you, Yasmin. Just a quick confirmation, I'm audible?
Yes.
All right, cool, thanks. And thank you, Bhupesh ji. In spite of not having good health, you were covering, or rather setting up a base for me. You talked about importance of data. You talked about the data which is important for student, institute, and even the research, information warfare, ransomware attacks, machine learning, and what you need to protect, like infra, application, data, cloud, people, and all those stuffs, and what exactly needs to be protected. And you have to invest into infrastructure security, cyber security, and the manpower. I'm going to talk on those points as well, maybe on more deeper level, and that's what exactly I'm going to do today during my session. Let me share my screen quickly, and Yasmin, I'll need your quick confirmation whether my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible totally.
All right, thank you. So we all know that data breaches are the major risk for higher education institutes. So it's not surprising, even before the pandemic, the privacy and the security concerns was among the top list of worries for IT teams at schools, colleges, and universities. But when teaching and learning moved to homes in April 2020, the end user security protection immediately became more difficult to manage and yet even more important to maintain. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ravindra Baviskar, and I'm working as a Director Sales Engineering here at Sophos. We all know that threats has evolved, so has cybersecurity. But then cybersecurity in education has evolved from no to no, and currently it's now or never. And that's what we are going to discuss today. As far as agenda for discussion is today is concerned, we will quickly see what changes education has gone through then and now. We will see the we will see the evolution of the threat landscape over the period of time. Then we'll touch base on threats and the security challenges within the education sector and why education is a soft and a favorite target for cyber criminals. Finally, we will see how Sophos can help education institutes with its unique approach called adaptive cybersecurity ecosystem. And then we will wrap up the session with some resources you can refer for education, followed by question and answer. Well, digital transformation, we all heard about it. It has evolved learning from classroom to digital, or what we call it as a online learning. There are various terms mentioned onto the slides, like education terminology, commonly known as or abbreviated as edutech or edtech. So it is basically the combination of the use of computer hardware, software, and the education theory. And this practice is bringing a sweeping change into the education. Now, we also heard about metaverse. No matter how skeptical we are about metaverse, but it is the next stage of the internet and it's already there. It makes learning fun and effortless, improves problem solving approach, offers real-time feedback, and enhances overall learning experience. Now with metaverse, gamification comes into the life more than ever. So as students are learning just like they are playing a game. In fact, they are not playing the game, they are inside the game. We all know COVID-19 pandemic had changed the education forever. Technology paves the way for education, helping the students and teachers to connect virtually through online classrooms, webinar, digital exams, and so on. And all this leading to a digital transformation, and it is well supported by NEP 2020. What is NEP? We all know about it. That is National Education Policy. NEP is also emphasizing on digitalization of reforming in school and the higher education systems in India. But what do you think? Is it the only IT which is evolving? No. threats are evolving too. In fact, threats are ever evolving, from traditional viruses, worms to ransomware to the advanced attack what we see today. I still remember my engineering college days way back in 2000, 2004, around 20 years back. We used to have computer lab, and many times the lab instructor used to say that lab will remain closed today because they are facing some virus problems. Intention 20 years back was just to disrupt or damage. Today, it has changed a lot. It has become more financially motivated, data breaches, and the reputation loss. Earlier, we used to see ransomware attack on IT, ITS, and BFSI vertical. Now we see those in everywhere, every vertical. Just to give you a couple of examples, in one ransomware attack in a luxurious hotel in Australia, bad actors encrypted a room key issuing system so that guests were not able to get in or get out of the rooms until the hotel paid ransom to them. Similarly, a ransomware attack on a well-reputed Norway-based media company has forced to shut down the printing press itself until they pay ransom. The point which I'm trying to make over here is everyone is target. Education vertical too. Education vertical or education sector was hounded by cyber attacks in 2021. In India, schools, university, research centers make an attractive target to cyber criminals because they are often under-resourced as far as security perspective is concerned. And the short notice and the on and off shifting of remote working or or during the pandemic has often leads to the security risk. Education and research sector has recorded 75% year-on-year increase in cyber attack as they move from home or working from home, and that has enlarged overall attack surface and open up new vulnerabilities altogether. So what are the common threats and the cyber considerations for education sector one need to consider for? As I mentioned before, education sector has been an attractive target for ransomwares as it often lacks the resilient IT infrastructure. Budgets for both IT and securities are often very tight. With stretched IT team, maybe 1 or 2 people handling entire infrastructure, battling to secure outdated infrastructure with limited tools and resources they have. And risky online students' behavior, maybe intentionally, non-intentionally, such as downloading pirated software, also has increased the education organization's exposure to the ransomware attack of recently. Second is phishing email. Phishing email with malicious URL and attachment often targets at students and the faculties, and these are very, very sophisticated targeted attack. They first check the area of interest, your area of interest, and then craft a phishing mail so that you will fall prey for it by clicking onto it. And that becomes the entry point for any attack. And this all happens because of the lack of cybersecurity awareness among the students or overall into the education system. Hence, adding cybersecurity awareness curriculum is a need of an hour, or educating IT staff itself is a need of an hour. Sophos, with its strong base of cyberroom, if you have heard about cyberroom, most of the educations were using cyberroom. Cyberroom has become Sophos now, right? We often conduct such cybersecurity webinars or workshops for the students who are interested in making cybersecurity career. I myself is a classical example of it. When I attended such workshop during my engineering days, that has played a big role when I decided to pursue my career into cybersecurity. Well, COVID-19 pandemic also has not only changed the way we used to do the business, but also has changed the way we used to learn now, right? E-learning was there, no doubt about it, but then remote learning as something which has become norm in pandemic. And more than that, protecting infrastructure has become a more important and critical, because cyber attack will not only disturb learning, it will cause downtime, financial loss, but more than that, suffering a cyber attack can lead to a massive reputational damage or loss in trust in higher education institute or in education institute in itself. We all know how important it is for a college, a school, or university to maintain the reputation and the safety of their students. Hence, education institutes needs to look carefully at the cyber resilience capability and the incident response strategies. Not to worry, Sophos is there to help you. Sophos scores high marks in cybersecurity over other players in the market because Sophos has all the bases covered when it comes to protecting infrastructure. I should say today's infrastructure, be it on-premise, be it cloud, be it hybrid, or be it even remote working. How? Let's see. These are the Sophos solutions offering managed through single cloud management platform called Sophos Central. And that's why we call it as a SaaS platform, security as a service. We have best protection tool to protect endpoints, servers, mobiles from today's advanced threats. We have next generation firewall to protect threats coming from perimeter level. And all those network and endpoint security tools can be also deployed on cloud in case you have cloud assets, maybe hosted on Amazon, Azure, or AWS, or Google to that matter. Not only that, we have a cloud optics as a product, which gives you visibility, compliance, and response of all those cloud assets and the dynamic nature of the cloud. So in case the institutes or education institute is running some assets onto cloud, the platform which I mentioned, and they are not getting any kind of visibility what exactly happening there, the cloud optics will help you. We all know the primary attack vector for most of the breaches because of the phishing emails with the malicious link attached to it or document attached to it. Sophos email will scan and secure your entire incoming email so that you have all the clean mails landing onto your inbox. Not only that, the phish threat will educate and test your workforce on a safe email practices. So phish threat is a simulated attack tool which you can run among the students just to see whether, or faculties just to see whether they are clicking on a simulated attack. If they are, that means they can fall in fray for actual attack as well, and that will turn out to be financial loss, business loss, and reputation loss for any education institute. Last but not the least, for seamless and secure remote connectivity or work from anywhere or learn from anywhere, we have recently launched Zero Trust Network Access, commonly known as ZTNA, to get that also get integrated with our endpoint protection so that all those students connecting to education institutes remotely will be having a safe and a proper connectivity. So as I said, there are many ways Sophos can help securing education institutes with the solutions which we discussed, but then the bare minimum security required is the firewall and endpoint protection. Now, Sophos next generation firewall will not only help education institutes to protect from threats coming over the internet, but our recent enhancements to web policy addresses the needs of education sector to improve the productivity of students as well. Now, what I'm exactly talking, which even Mr. Bhupesh has also emphasized on, the web policy, we have expanded our web policy to include many settings like search engine enhancement. Just to give you some example, safe search and YouTube restrictions, right? Google, nobody blocks it, not even in corporate, forget about education. Do students making the proper use of search engines like Google and Yahoo? We can enforce a safe search on these search engines, like YouTube as well. Most of the education material, learning material are available onto the YouTube. I make use of it, right? Whenever I want to learn about any particular topic, I go and search about that particular thing onto YouTube, how it works. But then there are other non-productive stuffs are also available on YouTube. YouTube restriction will ensure that only you are redirected to the servers which are hosting the white labels or the authenticated videos, which will help students for their education purpose. Hence, students will not be going on to unwanted videos and will be increasing the productivity of students as well. Second is download file size limit. You can decide the limit of the file which students can download from the internet. Usually, once you don't do that, this particular limitation, they tend to download certain online, and this has become a fad now, like that downloading or streaming online movies and all those stuffs. That's where exactly the download file size limit will help you out. Google App Domain Control, in case school or college or university is hosting their email on Google, right? So you have to open Google or Gmail, right? And that, in that particular sense, you can block @gmail.com, but at the same time you will be allowing @xyzschool google.com, and that will ensure by Google app domain restriction. So that's how it helps education, apart from all those firewall functionality which we have. Now let's focus on three important cybersecurity consideration for education institutes and how Sophos can help there with their solution in the form of product and services which we have. First and foremost, safeguarding students and educator data. Now this consists of the data hosted inside the institute, which should be safe, also ensuring the students accessing that data from their laptop or mobile devices should not be compromised and data should not be leaked from their devices. Also ensuring the secure connection between the student system, be it laptop or mobile, to the educators or educators network. Sophos next generation firewall, which I just talked about at perimeter level, will protect the data inside the institutes using features like AV, IPS, advanced threat protection, and sandboxing capabilities. We also have next generation endpoint and mobile security to ensure students' laptop and mobile devices through which they are trying to connect are not compromised by any means. And Sophos encryption will help to ensure all sensitive data on their laptop is encrypted. So in case that device is lost or theft, the data is secured. And last but not the least, Sophos ZTNA will ensure a secure and seamless connectivity between students' device and the institute's applications. Second thing is protecting from phishing and malicious URL. We talked about it. Sophos email will scan all those email, and phish threat will educate the secure workforce for a safe email practices. And the third and the most important pillar is protecting against the ransomware attack and the modern threat. Even Mr. Bhupesh emphasized on the same. Both our Sophos next generation firewall and next generation endpoint has capability to protect data and files from ransomware attack. So all the Sophos products are powered by machine learning technology to detect today's modern threats and even the zero-day attacks. In case education institutes lack in-house cybersecurity expertise, which is more than often a case, then they can leverage our MTR, that is Managed Threat Response Service, who will keep monitoring and protecting education network IT assets 24/7, ensuring no malicious activity happening which can damage its reputation. That's not all, right? We all know we need to adopt a new approach to solve new reality of today's world. The way we are going to succeed in this complex infrastructure in ever-changing environment, the way we are going to stop more threats more faster way is to move from individual security products and services to a security ecosystem. And what is that ecosystem is all about? That ecosystem is nothing but that can be managed and secure via single management console. Because today's cybersecurity does not require one or two products, it requires multiple products. You cannot jump from one product console to another product console. You need to have that expertise, manpower to handle all those, right? So a single management console should be there in the ecosystem. The second requirement of an ecosystem is a platform that will enable a vendors which educational institutes are interacting with, so that they can build their own tools and solution and interact with your ecosystem using open API. So it should support open API. It should be integrated, right? Where technology and human expertise work together to give you faster security outcome. All these products should talk to each other rather than working in a silos. If they talk to each other, they will form a synchronized security. And the classical example with firewalls, with Sophos firewall and Sophos endpoint is, if an endpoint detects a malicious activity, firewall detects it and isolates that endpoint within the network and even going out into the internet till the time that endpoint sits clean, so that that infection does not spread across the entire campus. Next is powered by breadth of the telemetry sources and the control, which will protect your entire environment. And it should be scalable, adaptable, and accessible to the organizations of all size, not just to the large companies or enterprises or the corporate, right? It should be for everyone. And that's exactly what we deliver in our Sophos adaptive cybersecurity ecosystem. So the ecosystem which you can see on your screen has all the products in the form of software and the hardware and the services too, which is backed up by Sophos intelligence group, Sophos lab, Sophos security operation team, so that any new thing we found, we update all our products so that the next time if it is seized, they can stop it at there and there itself. And last but not the least, everything can be managed through a single management console, which is a cloud base called Sophos Central. Now, even Mr. Bhupesh talked about machine learning, artificial intelligence. A lot of people today talk about AI and ML, but then AI, ML is not everything. If that is the case, otherwise we will have robot teaching the students into the schools. No human expertise, no human teachers expertise, right? So when it comes to cybersecurity, it's not the case of human or machine. Rather, it is human and machine working together to reduce the ultimate time to prevent, detect, and respond to the threat in a faster way. We all know security operation analysts are a rare breed. In short supply, their skills are often very, very stretched. Now, by leveraging the enhancements into the AI, we can enable these security operations or security professionals to increase their capacity and work more efficiently in order to stop more threats, right? Human mind cannot juggle with huge number of data, and that's why machine learning can help. Machine learning will consume that data and will give you an output that somebody needs to look after. And that's exactly what I said. In parallel, you will need all these AI powered machine learning models will give you collectively a data which somebody needs to look at and act upon it. And that's why I said human is also important, right? And this collaboration between AI and human creates a kind of a vicious circle of improvement that will ultimately change the economics or the scale of the defenders against the advisory. By combining humans and machine expertise and the power of automation, we can also help to address the shortage of skill set cybersecurity staffs which educations are facing today, and that will enable education institutes of all sizes to have a scalable world-class defenses. We also talked about digital transformation. Digital transformation is a journey, not a destination. So we need to constantly look out for ways to secure against any threat in any environment, working from anywhere. As I mentioned, Sophos integrated cybersecurity solutions like firewall, endpoint, mobile, email, cloud, that will protect students, staff, educational and IT resources, which are the most critical assets for any institutes. Not only this, as we have seen, there are cybersecurity skill sets gap, which is the biggest challenge today for any organization. And for education institute, it's the most common challenge today. So 1 or 2% handling entire stuff is not enough when we talk about a sophisticated and the advanced attack what we see today. And that's exactly where the MTR team helps you out. So it is not about the manpower, it is all about the brain power, which can help you to detect the suspicious signals going into the organization before it becomes the actual breach or the attack. And that's exactly where the MTR, that is the managed threat response, a team of experts who will be working on the behalf of you 24/7, trying to find out anomalies or suspicious signal in your environment and mitigating them. So in a nutshell, there are lots of resources available from Sophos side for education. Recently, we have published a report called State of Ransomware for Education in 2021 by the survey which we conducted with education institutes, how they have reacted to a ransomware attack and what was their observation. It's freely available. You can download that. There are lots of remote working, top 5 security risk education consideration for education, white paper on that. There is a reference card for education as far as the compliance and different kinds of CPAP policies concerned. You can download all those steps. The link which you can see on your screen, you can download those materials from Sophos websites under solution and drop down to an industry and select education as a vertical. So in a nutshell, Sophos offers advanced all-in-one protection to create a safe learning environment for education institutes around the world, keeping your users, data, devices, applications safe allow appropriate access to email, web, and application, no matter where they are hosted. So I'll end with one common saying that everyone is a target today, but not everybody has to become a victim. That's it from my side. Thank you. Just want to see if there are any more questions on the chat which I can take.
Yeah, sir, I'll just help you with the Q&A session. So we have 3 questions. Firstly, thank you so much for the session. And the first question is from Ankush. He's asking, do you have SCIM?
All right. So Ankush, if I'm correct, you must be talking about SIEM, right? It is Security Incident Event Management System. So it is SIEM, or SIEMs commonly known as. So we don't have SIEM, right? SIEM does a lot of things than what pure cybersecurity detection and response system does. So we do have XDR. Now XDR does the same thing what SIEM does, but then SIEM does a lot of things apart from doing the threat investigation and the detection. So SIEM can give you non-threat related activity as well. The user logged in failed, any server having some vulnerability related things, or anything related to the server or applications or a network or switch or firewall. But then XDR, the extended detection response, will give you the highlights of the suspicious signals which are all related to the cyber attacks, right? So we do have XDR. So in terms of the simplified analogy, if I want to talk you, so let's say EDR is a single purpose robot, XDR is a multi-purpose robot. So SIEM is a robotic tool itself, right? And SIEM requires a specialist skill, and they go beyond threat hunting and the IT hunting. So it's a whole and soul tool. But then for cybersecurity purpose, you should opt for XDR. That is extended detection and response, or EDR or XDR to that matter.
Okay. Thank you so much. I hope, Ankush, you have got your answer. So for the next question we have is from Selva Kumar. He's asking how to allow YouTube for education on Sophos XG firewall.
All right. So Siva Kumar, rather than briefing that answer longer way in the interest of time, even if you go to Google and search out for YouTube restriction for education in Sophos XG firewall, right? You will find an article over there. It is all about the drop-down list. The mild, the severe, or the beginner level. Just need to select that. Accordingly, the YouTube filtration will work. It is not an high-end configuration. It is just a tick mark and selecting the appropriate option.
Okay, that was quick and easy. Thank you. The next question and the last question is, it is from Arvind from University of Hyderabad. He's asking, is a firewall can able to stop local website outside firewall?
Firewall can able to stop local website outside the firewall. I'm still not sure. I'm not getting your question. Just I'm assuming that a college has a local website, right, internally hosted, not exposed onto the internet, right? And we can still protect that by keeping that web server into DMZ and all the users and students accessing that website into the LAN. So LAN to DMZ prevention will certainly work. Going ahead, if you want to make that website public, which will require, because most of the student and faculty started working from home during pandemic, so you need to expose that website over the internet. And moment you are going to expose that website over the internet, they are likely SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting attack, which Bhupesh ji talked about. All those web application related attacks are bound to happen. In that case, XG firewall has an inbuilt functionality of WAP. No need to have additional device or subscription, right? The web application firewall will help that website to protect from internet facing attack, even from local user facing attack, if you put that web application into DMZ and students into the user space, user LAN.
Okay, so just a yes and no question, last question of the session. Mostly we'll answer other questions manually by chat, but for Ravindra sir, just a yes or no question, I think so. For bring your own device, MDM and MAM are the features in the Sophos. It is asked by Siva.
All right, so Siva, there are different solutions in Sophos for BYOD. So MDM, yeah, we do have MDM as a solution, but we go beyond MDM. We call it as a SMC, secure mobile control. So MDM does only mobile device management, but Sophos into the security company since Aegis 1985, right? We do MDM plus security, both, right? So it is all about viruses, ransomware, stopping onto mobile devices as well. And for BYOD, right, in case they have BYOD, use the ZTNA solution where your applications will be protected from ransomware attack, because all those students and faculty trying to connect to the application will be giving access to only that application once they are authenticated and authorized. And it will be not the entire network access, it will be access to only application, and we keep checking that authorization and the authentication continuously till the time user wants that access.
Okay, thank you so much, Ravindra sir. It was very nice of you answering all the questions. We can't take every questions now. We have a time bound, so we tried our level best. We'll be answering in the chat other questions, remaining questions by Sophos team. And so, sir, once again, thanking you for once more insightful session.
All right, I think Yasmin.
Yeah, there was some kind of disturbance. Sorry for that. Okay, so now it's time for a quick game. Ravindra sir has given such an insightful session. Now people were waiting for this spin wheel game. So for that I would like to invite Mehul Thakkar from Sophos, is a marketing manager. Mehul sir will take us for the game. So over to you, Mehul sir.
Yeah, thank you, Yasmin. Meanwhile, can you just share the feedback form to the attendees? And meanwhile, I'll just start the game out here.
Okay, Mehul sir, so before we start the game and giving the small instruction for feedback form, everybody who has participated in this session, so thank you for that. We have a feedback form link in the chat box session which we have put. So you have to fill that where there is an address session, and you have to fill that address session so that we can give the token gift as a token of appreciation for participation. So make sure you fill this form for receiving the gift. Thank you so much.
Yasmin, not only that, I could see that some of our customers want to get in touch with us. So I think through the feedback form, if they can actually mention, we will definitely get back to them, and the respective territory manager of Sophos will give them a call. So please give your feedback. If at all, if you want to get in touch by any Sophos representative, just say yes. So we will get in touch with you.
Okay. Okay, I hope people here understood this. So the link is in the chat box given by SMEVenture, and even Mehul sir has mentioned the link. So you can do that. Mehul sir, over to you.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while all the attendees are filling the feedback form, let's have a quick Wheel of Fortune game, and I think top 3 winners will pick it up and give some great prizes to them. It's like cool Sophos duffel bag. So I'm just sharing my screen, and I'm just opening up the Wheel of Fortune. Can you see my screen? Can you just confirm?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a problem apparently, like we have many registrations and we can see close to 100 odd people who has joined. So let's see who are there. They just need to say yes, and then we can go ahead, right? And the first winner is Rekha Mishra ji from Raffles University. Do we see her? Yasmin, you're on mute.
Yeah, Rekha ji, if you are there, just put a hi or a yes on the chat box. You are the winner.
Or raise the hand.
Yeah, you can raise the hand. Yes, we have a Rekha Mishra. Congratulations, ma'am. Now moving for the next lucky winner.
Navin Bhatia ji, Al Amin Institute of Information Technology.
Navin Bhatia from Amin Institute. Congratulations for the lucky draw. I hope you are there. You can just type yes or raise your hand. Navin Bhatia.
Okay, let's move ahead. Thipi Swami City Engineering College.
Wow. I hope lucky winners stay here, because who are staying here and say yes. I think so. No. KP Swami not yet answered.
I think, can we inform them that they were part of the winner? And,
Yeah, I think so. We can do that.
yeah, and I think let's make it 5. I'm
Yeah.
just having 2 more, and let's see who are all our winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have Mr. Vinay Singh, Motherhood University, Roorkee?
Mr. Vinay K. Singh from Motherhood University. Requesting you to put yes quickly, so that we can ensure you are present in the event.
Okay, let's move to the last one in interest of time. And the last winner, which is there, the lucky one for the cool duffel bag, Mr. Pradesh from Central Power Research Institute. Do we have Mr. Pradesh, or we can inform them later as well? I think.
No, we don't have. Our team is saying no.
Okay.
Yeah, we will definitely check. These are the registrations. We need to reconfirm if they have participated or not, and then we can, probably inform them they
Sure.
have participated and they won the I think. And firstly, Rekha Mishra is the winner, who was there. So Rekha ji, congratulations. Thank you, Mehul, for conducting this game. It was really interesting. Okay, so education institutions need to make cybersecurity a priority, despite the sector facing major challenges such as a lack of staffing and lack of funding and resources. Cyber attacks are no less frequent or less severe in the education. In fact, they seem to be gaining ground in prevalence year on year, as instance of breaches in school and higher education are widely reported. The more worrying breaches are where student safety is compromised. Educational institutions are interested to safeguard their students, many of whom are minors. But a weak cybersecurity infrastructure can put them in a risk. It's an unfortunate fact that while cybersecurity in education is necessary to protect against financial loss and prevent disruption, it's also crucial to protect students from the harm. So, which is why the sector needs to do everything it can ensure their applications and systems are protected and work to overcome any challenges. And this is where Sophos and its next generation security solutions offers comprehensive protection. So thank you all for being here today. I would like to offer a special thanks and gratitude to our guest of honor, Mr. Bhupesh Daheria, for taking time out from his busy schedule and embracing the session with a powerful keynote. Special thanks to Mr. Ravindra Baviskar for providing some valuable insights and precious analysis. Thank you, Sophos team, for providing a platform for one and all. So again, requesting each participant to fill up the webinar evaluation form, which is available in the chat box, so that you receive a surprise gift as a token of appreciation. So this is your host, Yasmin Khan, signing off for the day. Have a good day. Thank you.